what I gotta do for those women? Well, they just drop me off at the curb, make me do all this work. That's the Earl,
Man. Who's your mom? My mom is Michelle Earls. Mm-hmm.
That's Earl's daughter.
Yeah, that's my mom. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's my aunt. That's my aunt Vanessa. Mm-hmm. Well, today I'm going to be talking about the importance of mental health, but I'm going to introduce myself and who I am first. My name is Corey Waters. There's a lot of different names that I go by, but today it's going to be coming from Coach Z. All right, Coach Z, Health Coach Z. I'm also a minister at Greater Mission Outreach Ministries. I coach football, I coach track, so I do a lot. And I have my own public health company, and that's what the factory is. Outside of that, I'm just here to spread all the information that God has given me. How did this journey start with the health and wellness? Is I went through something with my own skin. I was having severe eczema, and this was right before COVID happened. So going back and forth in and out of the doctor, but they weren't giving me any solid answers. I don't know what's causing this. I don't know why it's this severe. So I'm just going through. And at that point, I had to completely depend on God. So I'm thankful for the situation now because of where it's led me. While I was going through it, I was begging God to get me out of it. What ended up happening was I started to take a shot. I'm not going to say the name of the medicine because we're recording, but I was having to take a shot every 2 weeks. And when I was taking the shot, I had to take it in my thigh. I would take the shot. Instantly, I started to feel better. It was like I feel like no wait time. Literally, instantly. As soon as I took the medicine, I was feeling better. And then I questioned what is in the medicine that is actually healing my body this fast. So once I started to figure those things out, here you go. Okay. So once I started to figure out what was in the medicine, that's when the journey started to change for me. Starting to figure out, okay, this is what's in the medicine healing me. Where can I find this in my own food? At the very beginning, they were telling me that it was indefinite. There's no end time for how long I was gonna have to take the medicine. Just take it every 2 weeks until I felt good enough to get off of the medicine. Which the way that I was eating and taking care of my body, there's no way I was gonna feel better without the shot. So, like I was saying, I started to research what's in the food. Uh, how can I get those things naturally? And that's where the journey started. Now it's led me all the way here today to where I'm about to give you guys this information. The first step, though, before I even get into the food, exercise, any of those things, are my mental health. So today, that's what we're going to be talking about: the importance of mental health. Generally speaking, we have over 100,000 thoughts a day. Okay, over 100,000 thoughts a day. Why is that important? Because the next stat, most of us think negative 80% of the time. Okay, so whether I hear the negative thought and I dwell on it and I continue to say, okay, let's say something about exercise. I have a thought about exercise. I want to start exercising, and then, but. So as soon as I hear but, whatever condition I'm attaching, but I don't have enough time, but uh, whatever the reason may be, in that moment, that's where I have to control the negative thoughts. Okay. Everyone has 24 hours. All of us have the same amount of time every day. So it's just a choice on, am I going to allot the amount of time? And that's what I'm saying. I make my choices in my mind. But like we're saying, we have over 100,000 thoughts a day, and 80% are negative. So if I don't start changing my mind first, there's no way that my body is going to heal. Why is that important as well? Is because 70% of all illnesses, all right, I want you guys to write this one down. 70% of all illnesses come from a mental disturbance first. Okay, so something is going on in my mind, and then it plays out into my body.
Say it again. 70%.
Of all illnesses stem from a mental disturbance. Got you. Now we're going to talk about what makes my thoughts strong or weak, and that's just the emotion that I have attached to them. All right. So, like we are just saying about positive and negative thoughts, uh, I could think to myself when I first wake up in the morning, today's going to be a long day. When I send that thought through my body, the whole day is going to feel that thought that I just started the day with. You see what I'm saying? It's all about how I speak to myself, my mental language. All right, we're going to see in a second my mental language dictates my body language. So the way that I speak to myself in my mind is the way that my body's going to display the way that I'm speaking mentally. Next thing that we're going to talk about is and I love using this connection. That's why I love to be able to talk in church, is my mind, body, and soul, just like God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. So they're all connected and they're all the same thing using the same vessel, just like God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. We often try to separate them. So it's like I only take care of my body, or I'm only taking care of my mind, or I only take care of my soul. So it's like if we don't find the balance to take care of all three, then we're not going to be in balance. If I don't give myself the time to think about my mind, to think about my body, to dedicate time to my soul and my spirituality, then I'm going to be out of whack. I'm going to feel it every single day. What I want to do also with the same three comparison is show ice, water, and steam. Okay, they're all water. They're just in different forms. So this is the same thing that we're talking about with God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, mind, body, and the soul. All right. First, we're going to go into the mind. We're talking about thoughts first, but my mind is what questions what my spirit is already saying. So like I just said a second ago, I could have the urge inside of me to say, I want to go work out today. Then my mind is the one that's going to question and say, okay, we have all this to do today. Where is the time to work out? Do you see what I'm saying? So we feel like a lot of times that our mind is negative, but it's just trying to ask the questions. Okay, you do want to work out? Now create the plan to do it. Don't just say I want to work out and then we run into I have all these things in the day. Now just make the plan to make the things happen. You want to eat better? I make the plan to eat better. Yeah, you guys following? My mind also houses my emotions. We were just talking about my thoughts have no power without an emotion attached. So I could have all these thoughts running all day, but there's only a few that I really think about multiple times, or it makes me sit on the thought. When I'm thinking about my family, when I'm thinking about the people that are connected to me outside of my family, thinking about let's say every day I think about what I'm going to eat. All these things have high emotional value, so they're stronger thoughts. Okay. And then also the last but not least for the mind is this is where I make my decisions. Okay, this is where I'm going to make my decisions. And we're going to compare mind and God. Okay, mind and God. Body is the next one that we're going to talk about. And body, just like God made man, is Jesus. Okay, so body and Jesus are going to be the two that we connect. My body houses my thoughts, and then it also displays my thoughts. So I'm thinking of all these words, but they're being displayed because this is how it's coming out. They're good. Yes.
Where are we now? We're comparing the mind to God. We just did the mind.
Yes, mind and God are the first comparison.
So, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's all good. And then the next comparison is going to be body and Jesus.
So now body.
Yes, body and Jesus. There you go. So we're on body and Jesus. These are the next two comparisons. Excuse me. Like I was just saying, my body houses my thoughts. Okay, houses my thoughts and it houses my mind. Also, my body is what is going to mimic and display my thoughts. So like I just said, if I wake up in the morning and I say, today is going to be a great day, my body is going to mimic that. My body is going to feel the thought that I just had and display it out in reality. The same thing, vice versa. If I woke up and I said today is going to be a long day, we got to remember God only says yes. So God is going to say, yes, you're going to have a long day. Yes, you're going to have a great day. Whatever you tell God in the morning, that's what he's going to deliver. He's not going to tell you no. He's going to tell you exactly what you're asking for. Next thing about my body, it houses my senses. So we're talking about hear, touch, smell, taste, see, all these different senses that I have, my body houses those. Why is that important? We got to know to trust our senses, to trust our senses. All right. We'll get back into that in a second about trusting our senses. And then the last but not least is going to be soul and Holy Spirit. All right, soul and the Holy Spirit. So my soul is really the connector of all. It's the invisible force, but it is the one that connects my mind and body to give me the sensations that I feel in my soul. And then we got to remember too that the Spirit of God is very alive in us. Okay, I do this often when I'm talking to people. So right now, I'll pick my grandmother. Can you say your first name out loud? Okay, one more time. Okay, one more time. Now, say your first name in your head. One more time. One more time. Okay, now, how can I talk in my mind, hear myself in my mind, and I'm not saying any words out loud? That is the Spirit of God. We try to often say that it's my conscious or something else, but it's the Spirit of God. It sounds like me because he doesn't want to scare you. He doesn't want to sound like, coming down and he's trying to make it a punishment. He wants to sound like you, to convince you this is the direction you should go. You have all those moments where I should do this or I shouldn't do this. It's the Spirit of God. It's just sounding exactly like you. He wants you to be comfortable when he's talking to you. So my spirit and my soul is the piece of God that I have inside of me. Like we just said, it's the connector and the communicator. So my spirit knows every single day when I wake up exactly what I'm supposed to do. My mind is the one that questions and oftentimes delays what I'm trying to get accomplished throughout my day, because I already know, just like all of us, when we wake up, this is what I got to do today. Now, every moment after that is just me deciding, is anything going to stop me? I said, I'm going to do this. Is anything going to stop me? Even if I said I'm going to do this by 10 o'clock and at 10 o'clock I'm behind, I still have the schedule. We have to be intentional, plan it. Whatever goal you have in your mind for yourself, health-wise, spiritually, physically, whatever it is, be serious, be intentional, and make a plan. Make a plan. So then it's like there's no questions for my mind. If I get done at 8 o'clock and I don't have a plan, I could easily, with my mind, go off and do something else. Easily, that fast. But if I have the plan, at 8 o'clock, this is done. Boom. At 9 o'clock, this is done. At 10 o'clock, this is done. It's going to be that easy to make my mind be quiet instead of it always questioning every single thing that I'm doing. Now, my soul is the collector of experience. Okay. So when I'm going through my whole life, it's what's telling me what I prefer, what I don't prefer. When I go through these experiences, what are the experiences teaching me that's collected in my soul when I'm going through my life? The spirit man that I have is collected in there. That's why, for example, oftentimes when we don't want to learn from other people's words and their experiences, we have to learn for ourselves. And once you learn for yourself, your soul remembers it. Do you see what I'm saying? My spirit remembers it and says, I do not want to do that again, or I do want to do that again, whatever the experience may be, either way. next thing that we're going to talk about, which is still tied into these, but it's about my mental language. We talked about this a second ago. How I speak to myself mentally is how my body is going to respond physically. All right. How I speak to myself mentally is how my body is going to respond physically. So we all know Proverbs 18 and 21 talking about the power of life and death being in the tongue. We got to realize how serious God is when he's saying that. The way that I speak about my life is the exact results that I'm going to get from my life. We got to remember this too. The power of God is voice activated. The power of God is voice activated. What do I mean? For him to create all that we see today, he thought about it first and then he spoke it into existence. So all of these things that he had in his head for us to see throughout all of eternity, he thought of these things and then he spoke, let there be light. So when he spoke, that was the activation. That's what I'm talking about. And we have the same power to speak and the things be. So like we were saying, my mental language, anybody know about affirmations? Okay. If I wake up every single day and I look at myself in the mirror and I say, I am beautiful, I am intelligent, I am all of these different things, my body again is going to start to respond to these things and start to display the same energy that I'm saying these words with. That's why I'm saying the power of God is voice activated. We have to talk mentally better so we can physically be better. And now I'll just make a quick point right here. The biggest two words that we need to get rid of are going to be can't and but. Okay? Can't and but. All right? Because they place conditions. Like we were saying, when I say but, that is a conditional word. So I'm saying I'm going to do this, but I have to do this first. That's the condition. I have to do this thing that I just said first, then I'll go and do this. So once I get rid of but, because it's making the condition where I have to do something before I do another thing, that's what oftentimes we feel like we're waiting on God, but it's about how we're speaking. And we're not aware that we're speaking these ways. So then God is like, until you speak better, until you know better, can I deliver whatever you're seeking? Do you understand what I'm saying? So until you actively change your mind into the state where you can receive, meaning I am not wondering, am I successful? I am successful. I'm not wondering, am I beautiful? I am beautiful. I'm not wondering if I am whatever thing I want to be. Once I know it, then it's displayed. For example, we were just saying, I went through these things with my skin. Then God said, there's no way you should have all this knowledge about this stuff and you sit on it. Now, once I started to just talk and have conversations about these things, I'm in the room that I am now. Me and Pastor Head were sitting down and he's like, I want you to come and speak about these things. That's just because I'm waking up in the morning and I'm saying, I am an entrepreneur. I am a successful businessman. I am healthy. I am wise. I am. So when I get in the presence of someone that can help me get to these next places, I just have to be who I already said I am. You guys see what I'm saying? How you doing? So that's what I'm saying about our body language is dictated by our mental language. Here you go. Yes, ma'am. Now we're gonna talk about we're gonna keep talking about language. We'll get to that in a second. So when I think about the different emotions that we were having, okay, we're gonna move over to the emotion side of it. Yes, sir.
I don't know how he did it. My dad would be 112 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing he forbid, that's your word, forbid,
Mm-hmm.
forbade us to use at our house.
Yes.
Could not use the word king. Back in 1958, when I was born, till he died.
Yes.
You said can't near him, around him, he would just fly off.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know where he got that positive.
Yes.
Obviously, you talked to him back then. I marvel that you say that. Don't you? The recondition of how we butt
Yes.
things and the use of cane.
Yes.
You literally taught that in our house. Do not ever tell me what you can't do.
Mm-hmm. And we have to be serious about it.
He was a
Yes. 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 That's what I'm saying. Just like that.
Serious, I remember it today though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Because I feel the same way about the kids that I coach. It's like, if I would have known the things that I know now, I would have been a completely different player when I was playing. It's just about your mindset. It's not about your size, your anything. It's about my mindset and my heart. How bad do I want to achieve the things that I want to achieve? So that's where I think that helps. When we take out of our mind the fact that I can or can't do anything, and I am and I will, that becomes the way that we speak. That's when everything changes for us. So, like we were just saying, my mental language dictates my body language. We're going to talk about emotions causing physical reactions in the body. Okay, so we'll talk about something that I know everyone in here has experienced: anxiety, just worrying too much. That's literally what anxiety is. But when we have anxiety, do you not feel your heart rate increase? Do you not feel yourself warm up, your body warm up? Do you see what I'm saying? You may even sweat sometimes, you're having so much anxiety. But this is just a mindset causing this physical reaction in my body. Do we see what I'm saying? Anxiety, let's talk about anger. I definitely get heated up on that. Do you see what I'm saying? My temperature heats up. Sadness, I feel heavier. My physical body feels heavier, even though I haven't changed weight. But my mind is saying I'm sad or I'm hurt. Now my whole body is saying I'm reaping the benefits of the thoughts that I'm sowing. Go talk about what emotion elicits the most positive response in the body. All right, this is love, and number 2 is happiness. All right, so when I feel love and I give out love, this is the most positive response or positive emotion that my body can have. Then right after that is happiness, love and happiness. And then the ones that we were just talking about, anxiety, anger, shame, or even blame, these are some of the ones that make you feel heavier, make you feel weighed down. And these are, again, just mindsets. All right. We call them emotions, but they're just mindsets. Right now, I'm in a happy mindset, but I'm calling it an emotion. Do you see what I'm saying? All right. Before we go into us talking about the more into the body, we're going to say this quote right here because I think this is super important. Things that matter most must never be at the mercy of things that matter least. Things that matter most should never be at the mercy of things that matter least. What do I mean by this? If I do not have good health, I have nothing. So why are we continuing to put our health on the back burner? It makes no sense. My health should be my number one priority outside of my relationship with God. And now we're showing how they're connected. If I'm good in my mind, body, and soul, then my physical body is going to display these same things. But prioritize your health. Put priorities first. Even though it's like we say my health is important, what are we doing every single day to show ourselves? What proof do I have for myself to say my health is important? Do I have anything throughout my day? We spoke about this earlier about the negative mindset and the negative emotions. Most of us think negative 80% of the time. This is just generally speaking. So stay out of the 80%. That's something else I want you guys to write down. Stay out of the 80%. And that's just meaning stay out of the negative mindset.
So Zach, your man,
Yes, sir.
how do you how do you feel your life with more positive things around you? I think more atmospheric, if you will.
Hmm.
How do you create an atmosphere of positive things?
So,
So
one, that's a great.
so that your negative, the 80% negative, doesn't overwhelm you.
Yes. So I think number one, we're all products of our environment. So, like you're saying, whatever I put around me, whatever I put in me, we're all products of our environment. What does that mean? I have to change my environment. So, slowly start to get rid of what you feel is causing the negative impact on your mind. So, even if that's like, I try to tell the kids, because even when I was playing football, I would listen to the music to get me pumped up. But it's like, don't listen to this music to make your character. Don't listen to this music to say this is who I am or this is who I'm becoming. You're just trying to listen to the music so you can go play this football game. That's how you need to view it. So it's not making such an impact on my environment. You see what I'm saying? Because there's certain things I won't be able to control, especially when you're younger. But when you get older, you control almost everything in your environment outside of, let's say, maybe your workplace. But you control your environment every other place. So you start to make those decisions where it's like, okay, this isn't making me happy. How do I eliminate it out of my life? Do you see what I'm saying? It's just, I think, just us being conscious about what is positively and negatively impacting our environment. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that did. But so I'm gonna go spiritually.
Okay.
So it's soul because then your soul begins to um, create an atmosphere
Mm-hmm.
from within
Yes.
and cause you to either change the condition or change the atmosphere so that it benefits you in your positive thinking.
Yes. Definitely. Because what's an example? What's something that you feel like you can't control that has a negative impact on you? Okay.
The economy, but I think
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
Something
the
outside of,
news.
yeah,
The
yeah,
news.
right. There we go. Something outside of your control. So the news. Let's say when COVID was happening, okay? If I sat there the first day and I saw there is 1,000 cases, 50 deaths. The second day I watch it, there's 10,000 cases, 500 deaths. The third day I watch it, there's 100,000 cases, 200 or 2,000 deaths. What is happening to my mind? My mind, like you're saying, and my soul, which is the collector of the experiences, they're sitting there and they're building fear, anxiety, danger from just me doing the same things that I was doing before. And I was explaining this to my family while COVID was going on, is it's our mindset. Okay, it's our mindset. If I feed myself these things, and it's not food, but it's still feeding my body these things, then that's what's going to come out of me. Do you see what I'm saying? Whatever I'm feeding myself, this is my environment. Boom. It's the news. What can I choose to do? Turn it off. You see what I'm saying? So it feels like there's certain things that might feel outside of our control, but we still can't control them. That's why I was saying maybe work is one of the hardest situations for people because you have to deal with external situations that are going to affect your internal situation. Hmm. But I think, yeah, you start to slowly decide what is helping me and what is not. And it starts with you, like you said. My soul creating the experience from the inside out is what is going to let me have the heaven on earth. Do you see what I'm saying? Because my soul knows what is the best experience for me. For me to experience heaven here is for me to live this way. All these other things that have me consumed with, okay, I have to go to work at this time, I have to boom, 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 do all these things. When am I going to decide to listen to my spirit? So me and my mom have these conversations all the time. She's like, you're 25 and you just said, this is the last time you're going to work for someone else. Yes, it is. Why? Because I'm listening to my spirit. God is going to continue to provide these same opportunities on whatever scale it is because I'm desiring and I'm following my spirit. Anything is possible when you follow your spirit. Soon as you, uh, I guess, get off of listening to your spiritual path, that's when all the other things happen. Then I have to go get a job. Do you see what I'm saying? Because every single day I'm not being serious about this is my job. So it's that simple. Once my mind goes back to the point of, if my mind ever went back to the point of, I got to pay this bill at this time, this bill at this, instead of having complete faith and trusting my spirit, that's when this life actually became real. Before now, because I had a job, I wasn't there yet. Do you see what I'm saying? But now it's like, because I'm trusting my spirit and moving in the direction I'm supposed to, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people in here. And the number 8 is super significant. Super significant. So you see what I'm saying? It's just about trusting and believing what you feel on your insides. We're going to finish these last couple parts right here about what emotions do to us, and then we're going to talk about our body just a little bit. Negative emotions can create chronic stress. All right. That means nonstop stress, not never ending stress. All right. What's going to happen when I am under chronic stress? My hormones are out of balance. All right. My brain chemicals are being depleted. Okay. Because it's overworking. When I'm under stress, my brain is working extremely hard. So my brain chemicals are going to be depleted. All right. The only way that I fix these things are to fix my emotions first. Okay, if I'm always sad, it doesn't matter if I eat good and I run around every day, my body's not going to be okay. If I don't choose happiness and peace in my mind before I start any other journey, the journey is not going to feel good. Oh man, in the spirit realm. In the spirit. Like we're saying, the negative emotions damage our immune system. So we don't sit and think about the life that we have. God is trying to show us all the time himself through us. So he's saying you have the power to do every single thing that you desire to do if you believe. So I starts with my mind. And then he's like, okay, your health is super important. So what are you going to do with your body, my mind, body? And your soul is the collector of it all. All of this is happening at the same time. Positive emotions are what are going to trigger the positive responses. So we were just saying, I'm sitting down, I have a cold, I feel weak. I feel like I want to rest. I want to just lay down and do nothing. This is the mindset. Do you hear what I'm saying? My mindset is doing this, not my body. My mindset is doing it to my body. My mindset is doing it to my body. So now, when I go on the positive side, I can lower my blood pressure from being happy and feeling joy. Lower my blood pressure. I can reduce the risk for heart disease. So in our community, and we'll talk about this tomorrow about the way that our diet is set up, and that's not from our choosing. It's just we live in America and this is how things are set up right now. But when you are positive in your mind, your body has to respond, and our heart is what is going to feel everything. Our heart feels everything. So when I'm happy and I'm sad and I'm angry and my heart is the first one that feels what my mind is saying, and that's what gives off the rest of these responses. So like we were just saying, I'm super happy. I'm thinking that my heart starts beating happy. So then my body starts to feel happy. Do you see what I'm saying? If I'm sitting here and I'm saying I'm sick, if I say, oh my goodness, if I ever say out loud, I am sick, if I say these words to myself, destroyed. How many people do we know personally where they have just been dealing with an illness? They would just be dealing with an illness. And then one day they said, this is cancer. And the person died within a matter of seconds Because what do we think when we hear cancer? Versus every day I was just moving around with this same illness. But when I chose to believe I have cancer, I just died. This is what I mean by our mindset. If we just went through our life and nobody told us what an illness was, we can't see the germs. So when they're saying COVID is out, I can't see any germs. So my mindset is saying, what? There's something out to get me. There's something I can't see that is out here trying to get me. So I don't live a comfortable life. That's what was happening during COVID. I can't see God, but I trust him. Do I trust him more than I trust some germs on the loose? I do. So that's how we should have been moving. It was a huge test for the whole world. Where's your faith? In medicine, or is it in God? That was the beginning of the test of what's happening right now. There's a huge urge in all of our spirits right now to get healthy. That's because of God. He's trying to show us something. There's going to be, if we're going to act like that when we can't see something, where's our faith going to be when something else happens that we can see? There's war all the time. There's chaos all the time. If I am not okay within myself and know that God has me no matter the situation, then I'm always just going to be susceptible to what the news says instead of what did God say? What did God say? So like we were saying, lowering my blood pressure, reduce heart disease, easier to manage my weight. This is super, super huge. Me and Pastor Ed are only 2 men in here. But for women, when your mind is in a stressful place, it is 10 times harder to lose the weight that you have on. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's harder for you to lose your weight when you are stressing. For men, it's just because of how things are set up. We constantly put ourselves under pressure. What do I mean? The mindsets that are created for a man of you have to do this to receive love. You have to do this to provide for your family. These things put us under constant pressure when it's not always the same both ways. But then also when you see in our community, single mothers, they have more weight than a mother with a husband. Do you see what I'm saying? That's in our community, and we can see these things because she's not as stressed. But the one that's being the mother and the father, she is stressed. Do you see what I'm saying? That's littered through our community where we're seeing this with our women, but it's because of the stress that's being placed on them, trying to be two roles instead of just being one role.
So does it help to understand I'm going to call it process C, more than one process. So you understand your body,
Yes.
understanding the environment you live in, and then understanding what is the undertaking that is going to take for you to get help or get more positive
Yes.
results from your life.
It's a process of developing new processes.
Because when you have a cold, you feel it, but you don't want to stay there.
Yes.
But you don't want to mask it either. I guess my thought is that you want to take a direct approach to dealing with the positive side of the cold and understanding that the cold is your body just got affected by something or with something, and the spirit has to eliminate it.
Yes. Yes.
But then it means that you have to understand your body well enough to know to engage that part of it.
Yes. Yes, I agree. That's why it's so important to have a real relationship with your spirit. Because if, like you said, if I do get a cold, all these symptoms are telling me there's something going on. So then I sit with myself and say, what is going on? Is there anything stressing me? How have I been eating? And we'll talk about that tomorrow, why certain things will happen when I eat certain foods. But it's like, if we don't get in a real relationship with ourselves, it's going to be extremely hard for us to do any of the stuff that we're talking about right now. If I don't sit with myself today, not one day, today, if I don't sit with myself today and say, I can be better, and start to make one change, then it's going to start to snowball. Just like we want everything so fast. But just as many days where I was treating my body bad, I have to do the same thing to get myself out of that hole. It's like we we don't want to accept that it's going to be sometimes challenging, sometimes hard. But like we're saying, the relationship with myself is what is going to keep me balanced through everything, through sickness, through happiness, through pain, through joy. All these things is my personal relationship with myself. So a man thinketh, so he is. So a man thinketh, so he is. We think about it, but we don't think about it enough. We don't think about it to the extent of every single thought that I have manifests the life that I have. When we start to view it like that, then we start to be more attentive and aware of what we're thinking instead of just going through the day, instead of just going with the flow. Because a lot of us just get caught in that. Okay, I'm going to work. When I get back, I got to feed the kids. After that, I got to do this. And then I'm going to go to sleep and start and do it again. Make a plan. Even if I do have to go to work every single day. Anytime because I was just working at a high school, anytime I had time to do anything for the factory, I was doing it. Because that was my way, what? To freedom, to my spiritual freedom. So even if they're like, okay, I need you to do this, I'm going to go and do what they need me to do. And then boom, I'm right back on the computer. They would be like, Coach Z, you never take a break. I don't have time for a break. Do you see what I'm saying? How serious was I? How serious are we all about the change that we desire? We have to make it that way. Because there's so many people in my generation that want to not have to work for 20, 30, 40 years to have retirement. They want to be free now. So what's about to happen? The same thing that's happening in my spirit is the same thing that's happening in the kids my age and under. It's like we want to be free. So what has to happen first is we have to control our mind, get it back aligned with our spirit so we can see our way out. Because if we don't,
So Zach,
Mhm.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
It's okay.
So to be free as a young person means without any obligatory concerns.
To
free, or
to be free meaning I control my time, so that means I control my life. So if every single day for 40 years I'm giving you 8 hours, what just happened to my life? There we go. So my generation is aware of these things. So 2 generations ago, we were fighting for the opportunity to get, yes, you see what I'm saying? Right, to get a job. Now our battle is something totally different because we're like, man, to get a job is to give my life. But to create a job is to create my life. So it's like, for example, people that are these millionaires and billionaires, they had to first have the desire to say, I'm not going to work for anyone else. Despite how hard it is to live uncomfortable, let's say I live uncomfortable for 3 years, but then my family's history has changed for the next 300 because I just had to choose, I'm going to go through it for 3 years. That's nothing. But we get so consumed with ourselves that we don't see bigger. We don't see better. Just by me right now making this decision at 25 to say, this is what I'm going to do is follow my spirit. My children are going to grow up and they're going to know what? Be yourself. That's the key. Do you see what I'm saying? I had to learn that from watching them. Okay, she found a way to be herself. Even in her job, she found a way to be herself. How do I find a way to be myself and create my own income, create my own living? Do you see what I'm saying? That's what is happening with my generation. Not that we want to be free from obligation, but we don't want to be controlled. That's what we're saying. Yes, by the obligation. Where it's like I have to go to work to pay my bills, but my life is my job. Do you see what I'm saying? That's how we need to switch it. What is my purpose? That's what I need to bring out to play to make my income. So I played sports and all these things, and that was the beginning of all of this. But God showed me, okay, this is the position that you're supposed to be in in this space. So once I see that, then I just go and have faith. Why does it seem easier right now for me? Is because I grew up in faith. There's so many people around me that didn't grow up in faith, so it's harder for them to get the idea of what I'm saying and see how it all connects. But literally is just creating the best environment for yourself to succeed. You don't have to have a 9 to 5 if you create the drive, number one, inside of you to create the same income, to create the same freedom. Like we said, I don't want to give my time because that's my life. Mhm. Next thing we're gonna,
Quit worrying about it.
huh?
I can stop worrying about it.
Nah, keep praying. Keep praying. Keep praying. Okay.